Hi there, I'm Robert Graham and this is my submission for C04753 UX away from the desktop. So this is the original paper I looked at. I'm just going to show you this briefly. Investigated motivation within a fitness context and looked at gamification and social integration in fitness. This inspired my prototype. So in my prototype, I looked at a lot of different contexts for fitness and decided to focus on games and social scenarios. So based on my original paper here, this inspired this prototype. So I'm not going to go through the introduction section because I'm going to practically say this out as I go through the remaining sections. So the background looks at previous scenarios. So it looks at Wii Sports and Wii Fit and how they affected fitness within your own home, and how the facade of having games allowed fitness to become more fun and motivating. And a lot of time the attention was taken off the fitness aspect and put on the game aspect. This sort of experience also came in Niantic's mobile game Pokemon Go, as mentioned here. So I looked into Pokemon Go and how it did a similar sort of thing. It had this context of collecting Pokemon and walking around, but the actual focus wasn't on the walking around. It was on the collecting Pokemon, the battling, the being out with your friends and going on Pokewalks, as the term suggests. So I looked into all that and showed that motivation for fitness was higher in those contexts than it was in the traditional sporty fitness context. In design methodology, I looked through the design sprint methodology. So it has 6 stages: understand, define, sketch, decide, prototype, and validate. Due to the current situation with COVID-19, phase 6 wasn't particularly doable, so I couldn't validate with my existing example user base. But looking at the first 2 sections, phase 1 and phase 2, understand and define, this is where I had to get an understanding of the users. So I generated some personas based on the previous paper. They had quotes in this which I used to develop these personas. These personas, I created some user stories for this, which kind of identified potential problem points, which I could turn into pieces of focus for my project. After that, I turned this into a Moscow prioritized list. So this allowed me to generate a list of features, stuff that should be implemented, different things to consider in design, but prioritized so I know what's vital, what's not so vital, and the rest. So after this, I went to the sketch and decide section. So I used Crazy 8s as a technique. Crazy 8s is where you take a piece of paper, fold it in 8 sections, and you draw 8 different versions of what you want to develop. So in this case, I did fitness clothing, fitness jewelry, fitness game objects, fitness sportswear in 2 different cases. One for step counting, one for heart rate sensing. Fitness headphones, fitness bottle, and a sleep pillow. So 8 different contexts of a similar sort of product. Out of this, I decided to go with the fitness game objects as an idea, based on the previous paper looking into how gamification was such a big part of motivation for users in fitness. I decided to take that and develop that even further, making the object a game object in itself. So after that, I decided to do some sketches, did a screen layout and a basic drawing, which resembled the popular Japanese pet toy device, digital device thing called a Tamagotchi. So my design, kind of went off that. Screen design, I drew a couple of these, got some ideas of stuff I want on the screen, stuff I don't want on the screen, maybe stuff that can be hidden, shown, all this sort of stuff. Designed this without actually knowing the technology I was using. Next up, I looked into the various technologies I could use, so such as the various Arduinos. So I picked these Arduinos by Tiny Circuits. They develop very small, compact Arduinos. The Tiny Screen Plus is a processor, OLED display, and USB charging thing. USB charging support, and use a Bluetooth and accelerometer modules to develop my thing. So this section showed, now I knew the 96 by 64 resolution display, I could design a screen design based off that. So I designed on Photoshop, based off my original features, a screen design, did multiple, considered various options, and decided on that. Then it was a prototyping stage, so I used Arduino's IDE to develop the actual prototype. the convenience of these tiny shields allow these connectors. It allows modularity of connectivity, which makes prototyping very quick without having to use stuff like soldering, breadboards, all that sort of stuff. So I prototyped this device, made a Lego case out of it. Ideally, I would have wanted, something more than that. And then here I cover, in the section, I cover all the different features and functionality which I was able to achieve whilst developing this. And then in the discussion section, I cover the UX problems such as the seriousness of traditional fitness devices and the comfort of traditional devices, and I show how my project, how my prototype affects these and helps with these. Next, I will look at the actual demo of the device itself. So I will see you over there. So this here is the MineAGotchi, which is my prototype device. So this is a fitness tracker with the focus of gamification. I just dropped it. Okay, so yeah, this device focuses on gamification in a fitness context. So you have a fitness tracker inside this, and you have a Bluetooth connectivity module and a little Arduino. What I'm going to do is take you through the various things that this device can do. Okay, so moving over to the bed, here we have the MineAGotchi in a close look-up cup. So as you can see, it is in Lego. Lego is great for prototyping the a case for this device. So as you can see, we've got 3 openings inside. This is your port, which I use to update the MineAGotchi. Then on the side, we've got openings for 4 buttons on the outside edges. So that allows me to interact with the device, because this is not a touchscreen, this little thing. So now I'm going to use this very handy pen to flick the little switch on the side of this device to power it on for you. There. Aha. So pen, go. Okay, so if we can pick it up properly, this is it. So you can just about see the display on it. It's having a bit of fun with the camera on this. I shouldn't really throw the pen away because I'm going to need that in a minute. So if you look past the shoddiness of Lego, trying to find the right pieces to wedge it in place, there's some pieces of Lego down the side here holding everything in place. So on the bottom layer we have a battery, lithium polymer battery. I'm not sure the capacity, I think it's 450 milliamp hours. Next layer up, accelerometer. Next layer above that is a Bluetooth module, and on the top is this tiny screen, which is a processor, so an Arduino processor, a display, and a USB charging module. So on the display, if you look back at my report, I designed the layout on Photoshop. This has been transferred onto the device. So I recreated everything on here, which is quite the pain because it's a lot of drawing pixels to the display. But I got there in the end. So functionality wise, you have a step counter inside this. You can see the steps going up. Going up, come on. I'm going to put it down. It helps if I don't keep dropping it. So, yeah, it's got step counter on it. This step count can go up and up and up. You can set a step goal. If I had my pen, I would show you. But on the right hand side, there is a little menu that shows up. I might show you in a minute. There's a menu that shows up which allows you to modify the step goal. You can also feed the character and give the character thirst, so some water or whatever, to quench its thirst. These are the 3 major mechanics on it. So the idea is you keep this creature alive by maintaining these 3 what I call necessities for this creature. That's the main focus of this, the gamification context in which this device is used in. In terms of like generic stuff, so you got date and time on there, which isn't up to date. I'm not filming it on this day. I'm filming it a bit of a later day, to be honest. What I'll show you in a minute is when I use my phone, I can update the date and time through Bluetooth. I have a battery indicator at the top, which detects the voltage of the battery. and estimates the date and time. Then we've got the skin loading here. So this is being loaded from a 2D array. One thing of note is that previously I did have an extra module on the bottom which had a SD card in, and it allowed me to store all my textures and everything on there, which made loading it a lot quicker. There was a bit of a problem with that though, that after I purchased these modules, the company released a datasheet which showed incompatibility between modules, and I realized that my Bluetooth module was then now incompatible with my SD card module. So that created some fun. But yeah, in a nutshell, this is the MineAGotchi. It's a more fun, interactive, gamified device, fitness device. I'm getting out the words I need to say. So what I will do now is show you how this thing connects to Bluetooth by switching over to a screen recording of me sending over a data request to the device. Okay, so first of all, actually, I'll get my pen. I have no idea whether you'll be able to see this. I'm going to try and focus my camera. But at the top left is a little red blob, a little orange blob. That shows that the Bluetooth connection, the Bluetooth module is turned off. I can turn this on again if you bear with looking at my bedding. Put the Lego back on for this now. The fun of having Lego, yeah? Focus, focus, focus. There we are. Right, so now I'll do, I'll switch over to the Bluetooth app and show you what happens there. So over to the screen recording. Now I'm in the app called NRF Toolbox, which allows me to connect to Bluetooth devices. So on this, I use the UART function and click connect. So the device at the bottom there, Blue NRG, that's the Bluetooth module name. So once it's connected, it is connected to my device. I will switch over to, as you can see now on the Bluetooth module, it's showing a nice green indicator at the top left, which shows that it's connected to my phone. Back over to screen recording once more. So I use this panel at the left hand side, which allows me to send commands. So for command wise, I use to do a time update, ID T_U_ and then the time. So I'm going to use the current time, so 11:59, and then you just put 00, which indicates the time after it. So I click send on that, and I'll do the date. This is going to be a bit out of date by the time I go back to the recording. But the date is the 21st, so 21/04/20 sent. So these two messages have been sent there in green. I'll switch back over to the camera to show you the update. So back over again. As you can see on here, the device has updated the date and time. So it is now the 21st of the 4th, 20, and then time is now 12. So it has updated the time automatically itself to the correct time. Woo, it's done it.